Water.
Yeah.
It is water, though.
Did you get that, like, supersized from, like, a fast food joint or something?
Medieval times.
Ah, I see. So welcome.
Yeah. When I was picking out this outfit, I was thinking of Astrid's, like, tank top looking thing that she wore.
Yeah.
And she has those kind of, like, lines and stuff, so I was trying to go for that.
All right.
I don't know if the corset quite conveys that. I could get rid of that, but...
Now, can you breathe? All right.
You breathe up, not out.
Oh.
Yeah. You in a corset would be terrifying. Anyways, we're talking about How to Train Your Dragon after all that. It was just awesome.
It's delightful.
It made me smile. It's been a while since a movie just genuinely just made me smile the whole time. I don't know, it was nice.
There's a lot of happy energy to it.
It had excitement, it had like movement, it had like G-force. It's just really cool. The emotional strength of this movie too. Like the way that they showed Toothless expressions, they had to really analyze how a person's face and how an animal's face would do that. There was like a whole bunch of animals that went into the making of Toothless. One obviously is a cat.
Yes.
We have our own Toothless at home.
Not so toothless.
No, he bites my arm.
Not so clawless either.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, he's shredding the seal that is on our door.
His name is Phantom, but rightfully so. He calls
The
him...
Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
But having the cat for, what, he's 9 months old now?
Yeah, 9 months.
Yeah. Having the cat for a few months, it did make me appreciate Toothless and all of his mannerisms, because it's definitely patterned after a cat.
Yes, it is. Specifically a panther, and also partly a dog, obviously, because they wanted to have that kind of just pure pet energy.
Yes.
And then the emotional maturity part, at least that part came off to me like a horse. Because horses, they can read you very well emotionally. Right. They can understand when you're going through something and when you're not going through something. When Toothless was reacting to when characters had an emotion on their face, it was him understanding that without ever knowing what they're talking about.
And that's an amazing connection that not a lot of movies deal with, which is the emotional connection with animals.
Yeah.
And they're put here on this earth for a reason. They're not just here to be food sources.
Yeah. And you're slowly learning that over time. I know you've had your qualms with animals.
Well, Phantom is a cat that actually acts like a cat. Your old cat act like a rug. Phantom does cat things. He bats against your feet and all the rest of that stuff.
And kills my arm.
Well, it'll heal. The amazing thing about this movie is what an impact that it made, because it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It was originally a story, and the author's name is, as he looks up on the internet, Cressida Cowell. And she's very Scottish, but very expressive. Even in the interview that we saw, she just had all these kind of eye movements, and she's just very
animated.
Yeah, she herself is inwardly animated.
Yeah.
She grew up on an island near Scotland, was surrounded by nature and cliffs and all the rest of the stuff, and that's how she dreamed up all of this stuff.
I haven't read her book, but I have heard a lot about it. Toothless was supposed to be like cat size, maybe smaller. As a matter of fact, those small dragons that you see in the movie, that was what Toothless kind of looked like. Also, Fish Legs was his like best friend. He had a much bigger role in the books. I don't know anything about it, but I think that that's a fun little tidbit.
Yeah, one other change they made from the book is that in the movie they made the dragons enemies at first.
Yeah.
And so that they had to have a conflict in order to resolve, which I think works better for the movie.
Yeah, it did.
Because everybody's got their preconceived notions of a dragon.
Yeah, and of the book.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, there were fans of the book before the movie came out, so when they saw the movie, they were probably expecting something similar. But when the movie came out, it was like, well, this is not at all from the story, but I love it,
Something that one of the co-directors, let's get his name right, Dean DeBlois, said was what drew him to it was a sense of whimsy, which is just fantastical fun. And that's something that George Lucas talked about as well when he was making the Dewbacks in Star Wars.
Dewbacks?
Yeah, the dinosaurs that the stormtroopers were riding. Just like, why would a stormtrooper ride a dinosaur? Well, why not? It's fun. That's That's whimsy. That's engaging with that and leading with that.
Because it's fun.
Yeah, and that's the thing about this movie is it's just fun. When we were watching it, other family members were stopping and just watching because it caught their attention.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Like, that'll do that, you know? Oh, I love this movie so much.
That's the power of it. One thing that I really enjoyed about this was how cinematic it is. For an animated movie, they really
amped it up.
They did. They used as a visual consultant Roger Deakins, who you might not know his name, but you've definitely seen his work. He worked on Blade Runner, Coen Brothers movies, and he's just got a great sense of lighting. He knows what lenses to choose because he's a cinematographer. And this is all a virtual movie, but they can emulate what those lenses look like and how they are. And there's so many different scenes in this movie. They've got the fog that they're going through when they go to see the dragons, the stark lighting with just like a silhouette in the background and some blooming light on it.
I liked it when they were flying, that you got a scene from behind them, that you can see the fluttering of the wings. Yeah. You can see that the light is turning around them. That's like, that's so cool. It's so
and
realistic.
There's little subtle things where Astrid and Hiccup are walking through the forest and you see the light from the trees kind of dance over them as they're moving. It made it feel very natural, very real. The light would be completely diffused when they were training, and then at the very end, it was finally bright and sunny. And you can see all the brilliance of everything. It's like all these choices made it feel like it was a lived-in world, even though it was a fantasy. It's the art of storytelling. It doesn't matter that it's animated.
My face is starting to hurt because I'm smiling so much.
And I just really appreciate, the guys who made it. Chris Sanders, Bonnie Arnold, who's a producer, Dean DeBlois, this group of people tended to work together. And so they worked on Lilo and Stitch, and they worked on How to Train Your Dragon, and then they worked on one of our other favorite movies, a newer one, The Wild Robot, which is an excellent movie.
That was a wonderful movie. We made a video on that earlier. Yeah, that was really fun.
We're so appreciative of people who put their heart and passion into this stuff, because even though it's animated, it connects with everyone. And it's just fun.
In my personal opinion, animated movies get to everyone for a reason. If someone puts their heart and soul into a piece of art, that's beautiful. If somebody puts their heart and soul into their acting, that's beautiful. If you put both of those things together and you make them move and you make them look so realistic you feel like you could touch it, like, that just has so much beautiful artistry in it that, like, you can't not like it, And then you're like pulled into the world, you're experiencing everything they're experiencing, and it's just fun. It's just fun.
It is.
Gosh. Like, that thing that you were talking about with, like, Star Wars and, like, they did it because it was fun?
Yes.
I want to incorporate that in my story now. Like, I'm thinking about that now. I was like, I want to do that now.
Well, there's a lot of filmmakers who just say, look, they never made a movie like this, so I made it. Because I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
It's just great. And this came out in 2010, amazingly.
No, it didn't.
Okay, sorry.
No, it didn't.
But
Don't time it.
It was a year after Avatar came out and reignited the 3D craze, and so they did actually release it in 3D. So the flying sequences were awesome because you really felt like you were on the back of that dragon. As kids, when you watch it, you're just like, I want to fly on a dragon.
And then the animation only got better with each of the movies. Yeah. Like, the amount of detail that these artists put into these animated characters is insane. Yeah. It's insane. They even added, like, the reason that he had a scar on his face.
Yeah.
Like, itty-bitty details.
I just love it. Yeah, Gerard Butler was talking about that in some of the making ofs. He was saying, I did my voiceover and I haven't seen it for 2.5 years, but he's just like, he appreciated the detail, he said, they put into just one frame. And it's just so awesome. I love the storytelling of this. I love that it takes that long because they can refine it for that long. They can really they make it a masterpiece. And it's just a blast. It really is a lot of fun. And I
think we both loved that one moment with Stoic where you just went, what the? But you can't hear it coming from him. He's just looking up like, and you know exactly what he's saying.
Hiccup is definitely a fish out of water.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by other Vikings who all they want to do is kill stuff.
Yeah.
He is intimidated. He doesn't know if he can live up to his dad's expectations.
Yeah, and he's wanting to because he's just wanting any amount of, like, positive reinforcement whatsoever.
Right. We all want our parents, not necessarily approval, but we want them to be proud of us.
Yeah.
And that's what he was seeking. And he's a little Viking engineer. And so
yes.
he makes a bunch of stuff. And he made something that could catapult a crap out.
And it just goes to show what kind of character he is, that when the time came, he couldn't do it.
And then Astrid asks him later, why couldn't you do that?
Yeah.
And he said, well, he looked just as scared as I was.
Yeah.
And that was a connection point. And that made that humanized Toothless, who actually does have teeth. And, you know, the cat stuff will win you over. And, you know, they did all the animal things that are familiar enough.
There was a thing that fans were talking about with that scene and how the trailer for the live action movie came out.
It's coming out pretty soon.
Okay. They showed that scene in live action, and the one thing that they changed was that instead of looking fierce but scared, they just went for cute scared. Which didn't have the same intense feeling. It was what these animators put into that dragon, is that this is a ferocious beast, but it still has emotions.
Right.
While I love how cute Toothless is, there are moments where you need to show that this is a serious situation, you know?
Wow.
And
He could kill you.
yeah, that was the reason why they had that moment where you like pushed him down and showed his eyes like peering into his soul. Like, holy crap!
They wouldn't just narrow his brow like this. They would thin his pupil.
They didn't even need to change the expression at that point. They just it was like, oh. And then they put so much detail into the eyes too. They did that on purpose because other parts of his body weren't nearly as rendered as the eyes.
Yeah.
And like you could see the individual lines of them. It's
All
just
the,
like
the cones and whatever. Yeah. It's just hats off again to the artists at DreamWorks who just, you guys are all storytellers. It really is astounding.
we would like to be a part of that, please. Call us.
Oh yeah, there you go. Blind audition.
What? We appreciate the work, so we know like there is hard work put into this.
There is.
So if they understand, we know that.
You're practically an animated character yourself.
Who told you?
I just love the storytelling. I love that you can take something this fantasy based and still make it connect universally to people.
Yeah.
I love that they have these little moments with his big burly dad who can't figure out how to connect with his son.
Yeah.
And there's like this awkward moment where they want to talk and he's so
Yeah.
excited to talk to him.
And there's just nothing. There's nothing to say.
And they both retreat to Guyland where they're
Yeah,
just like, man,
of course.
It's all good. Yeah. But it's very human and very relatable. And I do
Yeah.
like it that they decided not to make him just a beast of a guy that has
Yeah.
no emotion. Yes, you need strong characters, but those characters have to have a core that is the same insecurities that all of us have.
Yeah.
And when you show that, that's relatable. Strengths don't seem to connect with us as much as weaknesses. And that's a very odd thing about the human condition. If someone is just jacked up, super powerful, I'm just so bad, I'm just so awesome,
Yeah.
no one can touch that.
Yeah.
But when someone has a moment of vulnerability, a moment of connection or doubt, that is relatable.
There was that moment where after he yelled at Hiccup and he said about the worst thing that he could say to his son, is like, you're not my son. Afterward, he walked out still trying to live up to his name, Stoic, and he took a step back.
Yeah.
And he just had a breath.
It was regret.
Yeah. He didn't want to say any of that. That shows that he's not just this big burly jerk. He's still a dad.
And I think that's what's missing from a lot of modern movies. Like Astrid is a, quote, strong female character in this. But you see that she's trying to prove herself against all the boys. And she's trying to prove that she's the best, but not so that she can girl boss everyone.
Yeah.
She is trying to survive and take her place in that society. And then she gets vulnerable too because she realizes, I mean, Hiccup has to prove it to her.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But once it's proven to her, then she backs off. And she winds up being a partner with him.
I love that moment where she said, like, you're really doing all of this to save your dragon? And he just said, yes. And she was like, okay. She backed off. She was like, this is what our new goal is.
Well, yeah, she found out what was important to him.
Yeah.
And that's worth fighting for. I was reading an article today. It was about the Cannes Film Festival. It was essentially saying it's not that people are not interested in movies. It's that they're interested in good ones. So maybe you should
what a guess.
maybe you should make good ones that are relatable characters
Just take some
that
time.
people like want to go see. It's like he was trying to say, look, the market's not contracting. You make a good one, it expands.
Yeah.
And so
That's how art works. That's how it works.
and we're all influenced by movies. I mean, this movie, it's become like a classic of animation, which I never would have expected because honestly, when I saw it, I guess I was, an older generation. I didn't appreciate it as much. And then when you view it, I get even more excited about it because you're really connecting with just the joy of it all.
It's fun. I don't know what else to say. It's
No, let's hyper-analyze it. Exactly what do you mean by fun?
dragon go vroom. Whee!
And that's it. You just want to have a great time at the movies. Let's have fun again. Why don't you share in the comments your favorite moments from the movie? We want to make, our potential documentary and then a movie.
I want to make my story as well.
Keep going, encouragement.
Yeah.
We're
Comments. We have a Patreon.
That's true.
It's up. We have one. We're going to be here waiting. We want to make our stories. We want to be able to put our hearts out and reach someone else's heart.
and if you're an artist and you want to connect, we're be thrilled to connect with you.
Yeah,
Encourage you.
talk to
and
us.
Your art part of our channel is
Gather more artists here.
and you never know where those connections will go. We were watching some of the behind the scenes stuff. We saw a guy in the background that used to go to our church. So I know this video kind of went on longer than we expected, but we were all excited.
We're
about
geeked
it, so.
out.
So have yourself
may or may
another
not-
glass of mead or water. Actually, I recommend water.
I'd much rather be hydrated than drunk.
We'll get drunk on good art. Good.
It sounded like that sounded like what we were at when we were walking.
That
You say the thing.
So if you like our channel, hey, that's what you could do. You could like our channel. So like.
And share and subscribe because I can't speak today for some reason. Bye. Dragons.
There be dragons.
Aye.
I don't know. I'm not quite.
Pirates.
Aren't pirates Scottish?
No. Aye, you're driving me nuts.
I don't understand. You sure you can breathe?
Deep breaths. I can
Just
take
seems
deep
like
breaths.
so much work.
What's so much work?
Breathing.
No, it's not. You just breathe up.
Are you physically limiting yourself to intimidate your opponent to say, wow, they're intentionally handicapping themselves so that they can be...
When I fight you, I'm holding back.
That's right. They really were in on it because they intentionally hampered themselves from their maximum capacity.
Well, I mean, the original corsets were made from whalebone, so that was actually kind of like armored
How
just
and
slightly.
why do you know these things?
Somebody who really, really liked corsets that like flourished during the sickness era really loved putting them together, and she would share all of the history of them, and then it's really cool, and whalebone was used in them, and I know that now.
You may have had a lot of time on your hands.
Everyone did. It's fun. It's freaking fun.